everybody. What's up, everybody? I didn't even plan on vlogging at this point in the day right now, but we have a predicament. It's raining pretty hard. Downtown Birmingham. I'm about 2 to 3 blocks away from my car. Don't really want to go out in the rain right now. I'm being a little wimp, I guess. Alright, so some way, somehow, either I should run through the rain and like just risk it all, or I could wait for the rain to die off. That could be another hour. So I don't know. And then Zoe's closes like 4 o'clock or something. Just it's letting up. Let's go. My camera's getting foggy too. Alright, we're back. Alright. We're downtown right here. Y'all can probably barely hear me right now, but it's all good. Walking across now. How about that? It basically stopped raining when I come out and conquer. Hey, we can't do it without you. Together we can go greater. We are back in the vlog again. Currently just sitting here in Avondale waiting on the train tracks basically. Probably be here in another 25-30 minutes at least. That's what they do in Avondale, but yeah. People are just so impatient. They're so microwave culture. They don't have time to, sit here and talk to their fans, and their supporters on YouTube or whatever stuff they have. But yeah, yeah, this is the common thing in Avondale. I mean, if you travel here, you probably have gotten stopped by a train, and trains just do stop here on the tracks frequently. It's kind of a hazard, possibly, but. Yeah, that's pretty chill. Just enough time, like sit back, relax after a day of work or whatever. And I got like a meeting or whatever. Not a meeting, but some type of networking event here in Avondale or something at 5:30, I believe. And it's currently just like 5:05 or something like that. I don't know. But other than that, we're pretty good. I'll catch y'all inside if I guess I want to bring y'all inside. I'll just use my phone doing that, but yeah. There's 2 cars. Here it is. So yeah, there it is. There was like 5 to 10 cars behind me, but impatient, microwave culture. I'm in the slow cooking business, That lady up front is up there animated. Like she's on FaceTime just yelling, saying this train isn't moving. I think we can all see, ma'am, that's driving. Hope you can see that if you're driving. It doesn't take too much to understand that it's not moving. So it's coming up on 5:30. If it gets to 5:30, I'm gonna have to hit a little detour and waste my gas. I hate to do that. That'll be wasting like $2 right there. $2 are hard to come by these days. But yeah, she's still yelling. Don't know why. Close your doors, ma'am. It's raining outside.
Publish digital media about Birmingham. That's content that you see and that you like and that you share every single day about Birmingham. Our topics on Birmingham Now focus on new jobs, small business, technology, having a healthy good time, having fun, nature hikes, green space. We don't cover crime and we don't cover football. So, we cover everything else. And we're really honored to do so, and we appreciate all of your following. Our site already reaches over 100,000 unique visitors a month. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that's because our team works very hard. Our Facebook following, our reach is over 250,000. When you tally up our followers, it's, what is it, Wade, 30,000 now? So we're continuing to grow, and we think that we have found a niche of content. The reason that we got started is we saw all this great stuff happening in Birmingham. We saw Avondale take off. We saw Woodlawn start to get revitalized. We saw Innovation Depot happen. We saw Pepper Place booming. We saw downtown start to really get full with all their apartments, and people thought it was a safe place to go again. We didn't see a media in Birmingham covering that. So that's what we're doing. We are here with the goal of making Birmingham better. And part of that also is having our Bold Speaker Series, and we do this every other month. We highlight one individual that we believe is helping to make Birmingham better. And I know you're all fans of David Gray, and here really looking forward to what he has to say. Okay, without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce Dave Gray. And some of you might know him better as Daxko Dave.
Thank you, everybody. Glad to be here. There you go. Okay. So, you good? Okay. So glad to be here. I realize people are going to go do other things, and I'm okay with that. I actually think that's great. If what they learned and they look back 10, 20 years after their time with us and they say, the leadership approach I have now and my leadership style was formed either because I worked for a team lead at Daxko or because it was my first leadership opportunity. I took that and developed it, and now I'm doing what I'm doing somewhere else. I'm okay with that. That to me would be considered a win. And so we would loosely categorize all that under culture, this focus on experience. And you know, here locally and even a little bit nationally, we've gotten recognized for that. But to be honest, I feel like sometimes that can get a little overplayed. And what I mean by that is, it can sometimes overshadow or diminish what we do. Because I think if you talk to people, you talk to me about what we do, we're pretty busy. And we're doing a lot of stuff. And we're running a serious business that's been really successful. And I think sometimes people can misconstrue really healthy cultures for playtime. And I think if you talk to people who work at Daxko, it probably doesn't feel like, well, sometimes it does. But it usually doesn't feel like playtime. It's a fairly intense environment where we have a lot of stuff going on. And so the overplaying of the culture sometimes can feel like it's diminishing the hard work that these people do on behalf of our customers. And that's important not to forget as well, because we are running a business. We're capitalists. We think it's a good thing to generate lots of revenue, generate lots of profits. It's good for our society. It's good for our community here in Birmingham. But to an outsider, it can often feel like that's the entire story, is our culture. To me, it's both. It's without the culture, we don't have success, not the other way around. We don't build a cool culture and start doing all this stuff after we got successful, we could afford to do it. We were doing all this stuff when we were dead broke. And we believe we're successful now as a result of that culture. And so that's our mentality. It's both. It's not one or the other. And the order is important. Culture comes first, and then the successful follows second. Okay? So that's a little bit about Daxko. Question number 3 is, what have I learned? I'm going to be done at 9:30, I promise. What have I learned? So this is a few random thoughts. I meant to mention, I'm going to leave time at the end for Q&A. I hope somebody asks a question. If not, I'll just start answering stuff. I have questions in my own head. Okay, so first and foremost, I would say I've learned this is hard stuff. And unfortunately, it doesn't get easier. That Jonathan Sides guy I mentioned, he and I were kind of in the foxhole a lot together during the early days of the company, and I was joking with him recently. He doesn't work for us anymore, but I think it was after he raised private equity, and he was congratulating me. And I said, man, he said, you're pretty busy, aren't you? And I said, yeah. I said, I thought this was going to get easier someday. It does not get easier. So if you're a startup and you think it's going to get easy, we may just be bad at it. It has not gotten easier. And I think that's okay. I think to the outside world, like I'll have friends of mine who are running other companies or people I just know in the business community say, man, you guys still killing it at Daxko. And oftentimes my reaction is in my stomach, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting killed. And not that I'm killing it, I feel like I'm getting killed sometimes. And that's just the reality. This is hard work. It's any work worth doing is going to be difficult and challenging. So, but to the outside world, it can oftentimes feel like this shiny rocket ship that's on a meteoric rise and nothing's going wrong, and by sheer momentum, it's just kind of easy, and everything you try works. Trust me, everything you try does not work. And the reality is there's just lots of twists and turns and ups and downs. It can feel like a roller coaster. Sometimes it's really exciting and sometimes it's really scary. And so I think it's the same. Just like an extreme roller coaster, sometimes it can turn your stomach. It can make you very nervous when things are going on. And I think that's why a lot of people actually throw in the towel. A lot of people just don't think the effort's worth it. There's a great Thomas Edison quote that he reportedly said. It says, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work." And so I think that's a good reminder. Most people miss opportunity because it's tough. And so one of the things we talk about a fair amount is, it's usually, in my mind, success is usually not determined by the great idea or somebody's intelligence level. To me, success is usually determined based on somebody's grit or a team's grit. And so, it's their bloody knuckle determination or perseverance not to give in. And so I think we have had more than our fair share of people who have had just in their DNA. We try to hire for that. We try to make sure that we're attracting people. We're trying to make sure we're teaching people that. But that has made a huge difference for our success. There's a great, and this is maybe a tiny nugget. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this TED Talk by a woman named Angela Lee Duckworth. It's called Grit, or her talk is entitled Grit. She actually wrote a book which I've not read yet recently. I would encourage you, at least watching that video. I love the language she used because it's a language we have used for the last 10 or 15 years around perseverance. And she refers to things like stamina and doing the same thing day in and day out, year after year. And what I tell people is most people don't want to hear that because that's a depressing story. I've got to keep working hard like this day in and day out, year after year. It's like, well, it's your call. You can be average or you can live up to your potential. And I think the difference are the people, and Angela Duckworth's done research around this, the difference is the people have grit and those that don't. And so I like grit better than perseverance because it's also easier to spell. Okay. The other thing I've learned is that all leaders need to maintain a mindset of being their team's chief communication officer. So whether you have a team of 2 people, you've got a team of 102 people, you need to be the chief communication officer. I think in most teams, other than maybe like really large established companies where it just doesn't feel like change happens much, I'd say in most situations, there's just a ton of unknowns and uncertainty. Some of that is just human nature that you create some of those unknowns and uncertainty out of anxiety, self-induced anxiety. But unfortunately, we don't control everything. As leaders, we don't control everything. We may try, but we can't. And so it's our job as leaders, as best we can, to clarify and provide clarity in the murkiness. That really, I do believe, and I've learned this as we've gotten larger, that is a real core responsibility of a leader. And that we now refer to internally as being a chief communication officer. And if we get this right, we're going to remove confusion. And that transparency and that willingness to share stuff you may not be comfortable sharing leads to trust. And trust produces fear. And if you can eliminate fear, by its very definition, you're going to have a much healthier culture. And you're most likely going to have far more productive people. If you can get fear and anxiety out of the way, people are free to do their job and they're free to do their work. And if you don't communicate frequently and redundantly, you're going to leave voids. And again, human nature is people will fill voids with crazy rumors and conspiracy theories. And so as a leader, you've got to take control and share the facts. And even facts you may not be comfortable sharing. And again, a negative human nature thing is we want to, as leaders, or as people who have information, want to hoard it because it feels like that's their power. And the more you can let go of that information, the more you can share it. If you're doing a good job of hiring people, my hope is we have 290 people who work at Daxko who are smarter than me, and I'm hoping one of them is going to come up with a really brilliant idea soon that we'll execute, right? And that's my hope. And so the more information we share with them, the more chance we have of somebody coming up with that next great idea. And so that's a big learning I've had over the recent years. Okay, the next thing I've learned is that the stuff that really matters is less obvious stuff than I probably would have thought at the beginning. So, the money and the revenue numbers I was sharing with you, the success, even stuff like being in the newspaper and things like that, those are maybe nice. Some of those financial milestones are interesting. Customer counts and other milestones, but which is a big deal at our company. There's situations where, people have learned skills and caught the entrepreneurial bug and have gone off and started their own companies. We got roughly, it depends how you count it, we've had 8 people who've left, or 8 companies that have been formed by people who left and immediately started their own company. We've had 2 of those because we spun out those businesses I mentioned earlier. Of those 8, we've had 4 of them have had complete exits by selling their company to a strategic buyer. 2 of those actually sold to public companies. 1 sold to IBM, which is kind of cool. We've got 2, Airship and Fleetio, who both just built out really cool office space downtown. So that's cool to see because, as Cindy's mentioning, our downtown is in a major resurgence. So it's cool to see them having a footprint. We've had lots of really cool successes like that. We actually have that in our envisioned future, this narrative about what we want to look like 10 years from now. I want to count a lot of startups and successful entrepreneurs among our alumni. That, to me, is a sign of our success. And then even little things, like I went to the Velocity demo day at Iron City. I actually brought my 16-year-old son with me, who I'm hoping is going to be an entrepreneur. And he's showing interest. And so we were sitting there, and it was cool to see half of the people who were mentors for Velocity and who were introducing the startups were ex-Daxko people and are big players in the community now. My son even leaned over and said, "That's kind of cool, all these people used to work for you." Those kinds of things are neat to see. Even stranger maybe is like looking on Facebook or Instagram and seeing a group shot of a wedding after a weekend, and there'll be 8 or 10 people in the picture, most of which are like bridesmaids, and 2/3 of them are either current or ex-Daxko people. And knowing that those lifelong relationships were formed because they sat next to each other in an environment where kind of fostered those types of relationships, and that to me is rewarding as any of these other milestones. Making sure I'm still good. Okay, the next thing I'll say that I've learned is that taking calculated risks typically pays off, even if what you thought you were trying to do didn't end up being what you did. What do I think of Birmingham? This is my last question, but I'll open it for some Q&A. First of all, I've lived in several cities and traveled a ton, and I love Birmingham. There is no other place I would rather live. Cindy and I were talking, I moved back here by choice. I did not have a job here. My wife did not have a job here. We just wanted to move back and raise our family in Alabama. I love Birmingham. This is an easy place to live. The people here are great. The weather's usually great. The ease of living that comes like low cost of living, low traffic, proximity to the beach, to lakes, to mountains, all those things are fantastic. And of course the food. The food here is world class, and we have world class restaurants here. But having said all that, I think we have a bit of an inferiority complex in Birmingham. To me, there's this palpable sense that we don't live up to our potential as a city. And it's kind of sad to see. And I don't know how we snap out of this, how we get a confidence level that believes we can be better than this. But it has been a struggle. So I'm on the Greater Birmingham Community Foundation, which hopefully you guys are familiar with it. If not, they're basically the group, they probably became most well known because they were the group behind the Free Parks Project, Rough Mill Railroad and Red Mountain. Fantastic projects that kind of changed the complexity, certainly downtown. And I've been serving on a special committee that's been referred to as the Regional Cooperation Initiative. We are the most fragmented metropolitan area in the Southeast. We have 35 municipalities, separate municipalities, who have no formal way to cooperate. There's no formal way, no system of cooperation. And when we compare ourselves to our competition in our region, the Charlottes and Nashvilles of the world, we are performing way below these other cities by all kinds of measures, like job growth and economic development and the things that are going to help our area. And the facts don't lie. There's been plenty of studies to prove it. We cannot claim that we're doing as well as these other cities. We're not. And we believe a big part of that is because we have a fragmented system, and these other cities have figured out solutions. There's not a single solution. All these cities have figured out different solutions, but we have got to figure out how to operate more cooperatively. And that's what this committee was all about. You're going to be hearing more about this. We're out promoting this now. I would encourage you as Birmingham-minded young professionals to start voicing your opinion around this. We surveyed people between the ages of 18 and 34. They were 92% of them were in complete support of regional cooperation. I'm not sure what the other 8% are thinking, but 92% are in support of it. So, voice it. Get on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and write posts for David Scher's Comeback Town, write posts on Birmingham Now, write editorials for the DBJ. This city, I'm telling you, they will listen to millennials. They'll listen to the 18 to 34 set. But we've got to start speaking up and making noise about this that said, we're not going to accept the status quo, that we're getting left behind, and we can accept that we're going to be average, or we can shoot for something bigger. But the way we're operating is not going to work. We need to change this, and so we all need to be loud about it and not stop. Okay, and then a tangent to that is I was asked to say a little bit about the tech scene here. I don't think the tech scene in Birmingham has ever been stronger. I've been here for 15 years. In the early days, we had this entrepreneurial center, which was kind of the start of it. We had a couple other groups that were getting started. But if you fast forward now, we have Innovation Depot, which if you've not been in Innovation Depot, that is a true jewel of our city and our state. It is an awesome facility, doing some incredible stuff, getting national and international recognition. We have things like Sloss Tech, which is incredible last year. I think it's going to be even better this year. We've got the Velocity Accelerator Program, which is incredible. The Venture for America is now here in Birmingham. But the one thing I think we're missing, I was chairman at Tech Birmingham in 2 different stints, and when I would get asked this by the local press on what do I think needs to happen for Birmingham to become a real tech hub, I think there's all that stuff that I just mentioned is great, but I don't think that's going to make us a tech hub. I think the only thing that's going to make us a tech hub is we have to have a company, a technology company, become big and hit it big time and become a sustained success over the long term. We've had plenty of good exits, big exits. People sold their companies to Fortune 500 companies and made a bunch of money. And that's okay. I'm not against that. Like I said, I'm a capitalist. I think that's great. And hopefully those people will reinvest in startups, and they usually do. But those aren't good enough. Exits, startups that get bought when they're $20 million or $5 million revenue, those look like anomalies to outsiders. They don't look like structure. We need a company who's going to be big. Like I spent time in Austin, Texas in the late 90s doing consulting for Dell. And that city was built by Michael Dell. That entire city was built. They would be a sleepy little town in Texas if Michael Dell hadn't created a company and built that thing in Austin, Texas. And now it's not even a Dell town anymore because everybody wants to be in Austin. And there's a huge startup scene there. And there's probably an untold number of startups and successful businesses that were started by Dell alumni. And if we don't have a company here that gets to some level of significance, whether that means they IPO or they have 1,000 people, several companies trying to get there, and being willing to say no to selling out to a strategic buyer and stay focused on building a real business here in Birmingham. So I think that's what's going to change it. Nothing else will work. So I will stop there, and I left at least a few minutes. We'll stop with Q&A. I once heard John Mackey, the CEO, has been in the news a lot this last week. Today, it's got bought by Amazon. He said if you ask a question that lasts longer than 12 seconds, it's called a speech. So since we have a few minutes left, we'll go quick if anybody has questions, and if not, I'll be embarrassed.
Dave, what time do you wake up? Do you need an alarm clock?
I do need an alarm clock. I get up, usually, my guess is the last 15 years, I've probably averaged 7 days a week. I've probably averaged somewhere south of 5 o'clock. My normal weight, like this morning I got up at 4:15, and that's kind of normal, 4:15. So like I've got 4:15. I took my kids, here's another good nugget. I took my 3 kids to school every single morning I was in town for their entire 10 years they were in elementary school. My kids didn't spend 10 years in elementary school. My oldest ones to my youngest one leaving, it's a 10-year span where I continuously had somebody in elementary school. And walking them underneath this little tunnel at the Pig in Homewood to take them to Shades Cahaba was a phenomenal experience. Again, one of the teachers there one time said, your kids are never going to forget this. I said, oh, I bet they will, but I bet you I won't. So that was more for me than it probably was for them. But that allowed me to do that kind of stuff. I could get up early, get a lot of stuff done, exercise. I think exercise is important too. So. But I like early mornings.
Can you give a couple of insights on what you see from your clients in terms of changes that you see in the industry? There's a lot of talk about people, some of the bigger fitness chains maybe having too big of a structure.
Yeah. So the question was about changes we're seeing in the industry, and By industry, you mean the fitness industry. So we're the only, this will be a little bit of a pitch, we're the only company in the world that can serve the entire health and fitness industry. We bought a company in Denver who focuses on studios, yoga studios, CrossFit, those kind of things. And we go all the way up to massive, we have customers in California that have 80 large full-service fitness facilities. We have YMCA's that are 100 million plus businesses. So we go across the whole spectrum. We have people like the Lakeshore Foundation here in Birmingham as a customer, the UAB Campus Rec Center as a customer. So we have really big all the way down to small. And so the one thing we've seen is there is clearly more focus on health and wellness now, both from consumers and from people who have a vested interest in people being fit, so employers and healthcare providers. And so we think that's actually helping the growth. What's happened is it's become more varied than it was in the past. So it used to be big box gyms were kind of it, and now you've got, like I live in Homewood, and if you go to Octane in Homewood, they're within a half block, there's like 8 little personal training kind of unique boutique gyms, right? And that's become more of a trend, so it's a threat to the bigger gyms. But it really hasn't affected their membership. We think the overall membership is increasing at a pace enough where there's room for both. And so we're seeing good growth across our YMCA market. We're seeing good growth in the studio market. We're seeing good growth in the big for-profits. So it still feels like a growth industry to us. We had a big customer in the office earlier today, and we were talking with them, and they're in big time growth mode. They're building facilities all over the place. So we're excited about that.
What aspects of your culture at your company do you think have engaged employees the most?
Yeah, so what aspects engage team members the most in our culture? I would say, and it'd be interesting, you maybe ask these guys. I mean, my belief is the thing that engages people the most is transparency and communication. I think people who try to get it just right, it's always better to get things out in front of people. I've been having this conversation with some of our leaders. I have this conversation with a group that I'm involved with. That they're holding back information. There's just like a natural tendency not to want to share. And I'm like, you're just waiting for this to get perfect. Share the information and course correct as information changes. But it's better to tell somebody something today than it is to wait until it's a little bit more refined tomorrow. And so I think the more you take that philosophy, the better off you get. I think the same is true with trying ideas. So when we're doing this well, we try to get things in front of customers very, very early in the process. And so I think if we were starting a business, I would try to think about how do we get things in front of customers quickly, and then how do we make sure we're not building something? It's like a big argument we had in the early days. We're a SaaS business, which is software as a service, which means we have tens of thousands of users of our software. They all use the exact same source code. There's no customized versions. And the reason why we do that is because it's a much more scalable business. When we were debating this I remember we were in a conference room in Prattville, Alabama in 2003, debating this because we had a big customer who wanted to pay us a lot of money, and we were losing money, we needed their money, and they wanted a custom version. And we had a big debate, and we're like, we can do custom now and be out of business in a year, or we can believe in this model and keep doing it. It was all about scalability. We knew if we were ever going to make it, we would regret having done custom stuff. And so I think scalability in the early days is really critical. You don't have to answer all the how to do it necessarily. You have to really get your head wrapped around what the business model is, though, and make sure that you are very adamant about not breaking that business model. Anything else?
I have another question. Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you guys can career defining moments that you'd like to share, maybe something we can try to replicate an experience that you're going to Daxko.
Yeah, if I ever had career defining moments, I mean, some of mine, I tell people this when people ask me, I think I've had some that have been pretty negative career defining moments, which I think is actually good to pay attention to the negative things. Like I worked for that Silicon Valley-based company in the late 90s, early 2000s, and we, in essence, we got caught up in the dot-com bubble bursting and ended up getting bought for really cheap by a much larger company. And I remember being in a conference room in San Jose, California, and our CEO tearfully apologizing for screwing up. And we had gone public already. We had the 6th best IPO, the first day IPO in the history of the NASDAQ, and then it all crashed before any of us could cash our stock in. And he was apologizing for the mistake he made. And the mistake he made is he got overly aggressive, and we were winning in a niche that we were in. And I remember his comments sitting in, that was kind of middle management at the time, sitting in the back of the room, and thing he said was we had a strong position and we should have defended the hill. And I literally left that day. I started a Word document of lessons learned. This was going to be like I think I'll maintain this for the next 20 years. I got 2 bullets on it. I never edited it. Was focus and defend the hill. Those were literally the 2 things I wrote down. So then when I heard that comment from Tom Patterson who said, figure out what business we need to be in and make it make money, I thought, this is all about focus. And we got to focus. And then so when we got good and we started winning, we're like, we're not going to get distracted by all this other stuff. We're going to stay focused. And so right now, 15 years into it, we still serve health and wellness industry. And a lot of people, like in the early days, would ask me, like, when are you guys going to do something? It's like everybody I knew was anxious of when we were going to do something other than serve YMCAs. I'm like, we're good. We're okay just doing this. I'm not insulted by your question. We're going to keep doing this. Because I think we just want to get really good at one thing or die trying. That still hasn't changed. I want to be, we talk about it, you guys hear me talk about this, we talk about, we want to be the most loved and the largest software company focused on member-based health and wellness organizations. And we feel like if we keep doing what we're doing today, we have lots of growth ahead of us. And we just need to keep focused. So I still believe in that.
Yeah, I have a double question, and it might take you over the 11 words.
Okay, 12 seconds.
I actually remember when Daxko was I Sign Up.
Mm-hmm.
Was it I Sign Up?
iSignUpNow.com, yes.
But anyway, my question is, what talent do you most need that you have trouble finding in Birmingham? And the B part of that is, do you find enough females and minorities in those areas?
Yeah, so those are easy. The hardest thing is technology talent. And it's, to be more specific, it's technology talent, people who have done what we are trying to do next. And so we're not that big a company, but we're the biggest software as a service company or SaaS business in Birmingham. So we have no larger company to steal from. Like, I would love if there was some company who was publicly traded and had 5,000 people working there, and they've scaled to 100,000 customers that are 10 times. Literally get sick of me and have a job that same day. I mean, and that's not just in Birmingham. That is every person I talk to, everywhere we go, that's the way it is. It's even gotten that way. India's terrible now. Retention rates of Indian developers are terrible. There is a worldwide shortage of engineers. We need more people to major in computer science. And parents are giving their children horrible advice. That it's not a creative career, that it's all being offshored. It's terrible advice. And so you don't have to be a math geek. You don't have to be a computer geek. I mean, some of the most creative people I've met are computer or software engineers who have developed some really cool stuff and can be entrepreneurial. It's a great career. We just need to get more. We need to get more females. We need to get more minorities. We need to get more everybody majoring in computer science. Yes.
What was your dream when you were a kid?
My dream?
Yes.
What was my dream when I was a kid? This is going to be sad. I don't remember having a specific dream when I was a kid, to be honest with you. I've never been like that. Like, I've never had a 10-year plan or anything. And I think this is, again, I had parents who were blue collar and worked blue collar jobs, and you just worked hard and did what you were supposed to do. And I've always kind of felt like you do that consistently over time, people will recognize it and things work out. So that's always kind of been my philosophy. I had no dream to be a CEO of a tech company. I had no, I just never really thought much about that. I just thought, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to work really hard, and hope it turns out well. We're over our time. I'll keep going if more people want to stay, but you guys can feel free to leave if you want to.
What did you study at Auburn?
What did I study at Auburn?
Yeah.
I studied management information systems, which was a combination of like programming and business. And when this was when MIS was brand new. And our professors then all told us, you're going to get a computer programming job when you get out of college. And so that's what I did. The first few years of my career, I was a software developer, which I think was really good because I got to know how you develop software. And I do not know how to develop software anymore. I sometimes miss that because it really is a creative craft, and I enjoyed that part of it. But I know kind of how the mindset of a developer works. I think that's been helpful in running a technology company, certainly. So for people who are thinking about going to computer science, the first few years you ought to actually develop software. If you want to go do something bigger later, that's fine, but there's a benefit to actually having done it. There's another one over here, yep.
Are you excited about any other local?
Okay.
We have a gift card for Yogurt Mountain, because we think it's probably your friend. And it's also from a client of ours, who's a million owns Yogurt Mountain, so enjoy. And let's give a big round of you'll all agree with me that Birmingham is extremely fortunate to have Dave Gray here. And Dave, you've got to walk back this way because you've got to draw the winner. All right, I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so get your coupons ready, your tickets. And this is going to be for 2 tickets to Sloss Test. Here we go.
You guys have your numbers? Okay, it is 4472386.
Who is that? Do we have a winner? All right, congratulations. Justin is going to Sloss Tech on Bingham Now. And also, we're going to be giving away tickets on Bingham Now on our Facebook page. So please go and you can see our giveaway there. And also, you can just buy tickets. We'll see you all there. And thank you very much for coming. And thank you for following Bingham Now as well. Have a good night.
Just leaving Avondale. The number they read off was not my number. Casey, I'ma still find a way. Hold up. I'ma still find a way so we can meet up or something. I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah. Oh, hold on 1 second. Gotta show you another cool thing. Let's run over here right quick. So just to let you know, J. Cole was over here, so yeah. He was over here there about 2 or 3 weeks ago. 3 or 4 maybe. So I think that's gonna end the vlog there. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you're not even watching anymore. Probably have like 2 people watching right now. But yeah. Funny thing about going to those places, all those people are like 25, 30 years old. I'm just an 18-year-old kid. So yeah. That's gonna do it for today. And I'll catch y'all next time.
I had a bad dream that I was trapped in this city. Then I asked, is that really such a bad thing? I look around like, do